Hi, and thank you for joining me again today. Today I'll be walking you through this project, and in this project it has a front end for our serverless architecture. So the front end, we are going to upload files here to our S3 bucket called the bucket in, and we have a Lambda function that is going to sort these files according to their extensions. So I'll go on here to upload files, and I'll upload all these files. Yes, that's what I want to upload. This files has different extension. We have the PDF, we have TXT, we have PNG, we have CSV, and DOCX, that the docs, all the Microsoft Word extension file. And once I do open and upload this to S3 Buckets, it says successful, and I can go to my S3 bucket here, refresh, go to the in, and I see that all this file is uploaded. But I also want this to be sorted according to the extensions in a bucket called the out bucket, which is this file here. And yes, we see that some of the files are coming in, the docs, we have the PNG and the TXT. Here you can refresh, give it a couple of minutes again to refresh, and let's refresh again. Okay, let's refresh again. Okay, and yes, we have the third one, and everything is in. All the file extensions that we have are in. Everything we have in our in bucket is now sorted out in the out based on their extension. That's what we are building for this project. So we'll also walk you through the project architecture. Okay, here is the architecture of this serverless application, or here is the architecture of our project. We will be committing our code on GitHub. So GitHub Actions, we are going to set up a pipeline using Terraform that is going to provision all the resources that we need on AWS. So the resources that we need here is the buckets, two S3 buckets, buckets for in and bucket for out. And we are also going to provision Lambda function. And this Lambda function is going to have a role and a policy attached to it. We are also going to set up a notification that once something comes in the bucket in, it's going to trigger the Lambda function to sort all the files in the bucket out. And to upload this bucket, we have a front-end application, a React front-end application that is going to give us like a little fancy, website, a little fancy upload front end to upload our files locally from our local machine to the S3 bucket. So a few of the things that you need to know: you have to have cloud experience to work on this type of project, and you also need to have infrastructure as a code like Terraform Cloud Formation experience, or you know the basics before you work on this application. Also have some basics on pipeline, CI/CD pipeline, like the Jenkins, GitHub Actions. There's also the GitLab CI/CD. If you have some basic concepts or you understand how the CI/CD pipeline work, yes, you'll be able to understand what we worked on this project. And with that being said, let's dive right into this project. So you ask, why is this project important? Why it's really important is you have some of the tasks you have automated. You have the CI/CD pipeline that is helping you to provision your infrastructure, and you have an automated process of uploading files, and you have this Lambda function that is going to sort all your files in another bucket in their folders based on their extension. Another important fact of this project is cost efficiency. Because it's a serverless application, you only, there's no server you're managing, you don't have any EC2s that you're paying for. And once this Lambda triggers, you don't pay for it. You don't even have so much trigger. It depends on the number of triggers that you do in a month, or you have the number of processes that you run in a month that can determine how much you're going to pay for. Another is scalable uploads and processing. You're able to select one file to upload. You're able to select so many files to upload. So it gives you the flexibility to scale if you have so many files, if you have little files, and you're able to work on that. Okay, the next thing is efficient data management. So you were able to manage your files and have them sorted in different folders based on their extension. So if you have, like, your organization have different ways that they sort their files, if you have like generated reports or whatever files you're working on, you are able to have an automated sorter or like automated file sorter for your organization. Okay, another thing is enhanced collaboration. So if you have this type of application up and running, like your front end, you don't want people to upload files like they don't have access to your AWS. But with this type of application, and if you have the right setup for logins, you can share this with others. They are able to log in and they can upload files, and these files can go to your S3 bucket. So not everyone needs to have access to an S3 bucket, but once they have access to the front end, they are able to upload files to the S3 bucket, which will also, trigger the S3 sorter, or will trigger the Lambda function sorter. And the final thing is it improves your data, transform workflows. Once you have this workflow set up for your organization, you can even have it more robust. You're able to, manage your files well. You're able to manage your data processing workflows. You're able to, integrate more things. You're even able to, integrate file scanning system into your pipeline, and also into the front end is able to scan files before uploading this to your S3 bucket. So that is it. Okay, that's all the benefits for this project, and you will see more in the readme.md file. And let's jump right into the project. Come with me. We're going to do a walkthrough on the code. Nothing special, it's just a simple app. So if you look through the source code, which is an app.js, so it's just really simple, but the few things I will let you know that you can change if you're going to use the same code. Few things is we have AWS SDK that is to enable us to upload files from our app to S3 bucket. So we have to, have that in our app. You can, look at the app. If you want to change it, yes, you can, modify it and make it, look better. Yeah, there's a whole lot you can add on here. We're just hosting this app locally to enable us upload files to S3 bucket. You can also host it anywhere you want, but just provided you understand the concept. Okay, a few things you have to change here is the variables that we didn't hard code in the application, which is the S3 bucket, the AWS region, the access key ID, and the AWS access secret. This you can get from your AWS account. You have to create a role, copy the secret and the ID, and have it in your code as well. I didn't put on here because I want to show you how you can create this if you haven't created it before. So I will go to my AWS account now and sign in. Here is my AWS account. You can go to IAM and go to roles. Once you are here, you can go to user, because we are creating a user that will have an access key and a secret. Say S3 uploader, S3 uploader. Because this user access will be exposed, I will make sure to delete this after this video or after this demo. I'll click on this, next. Okay, I need to attach policy directly. Remember the principle of least privilege. Give permissions that are needed. But for this demo, I'm going with full administrator access, which is here. They can create anything. Okay, create user, and once it's created, I can click on this user and go to security credentials. Here I want to create the access key and CLI. I understand this, and next. Okay, nothing in the description. Create, and this is created. I need this key and I need the secret as well. So I will copy this and go back to my code. this is the ID. I'll paste it here, and I'll go back here again and copy the secret and paste it in my code. As far as bucket name goes, I'm going with this name, but it's still going to change. But I will show you when I start typing in my Terraform files. I can change this. It can be the same, but this is what I had for practice, which I can, when we get to it, we'll know what the bucket name will be. All right. So US, I'm using US East 1. It can be any location of your choice, but make sure you have this here. Okay, that is that. We have created our AWS. Since it's already here, I don't need to download this. I can use it to, for other places that I need it for. Okay, so we are done walking through the application. Next step will be to go to our Terraform Cloud and set up our account, set up a workspace, and do login. Because I've done this, we'll go to app.terraform.io. Why do we need Terraform Cloud? Terraform Cloud is also going to have our state file instead of having an S3 bucket for our state file, our backend state file for our Terraform. I have made a video, walking through what is Terraform Cloud. You can go check it out, or you can also, check on their website what Terraform Cloud is. Okay, once you're on the Terraform Cloud, you can sign up. It's really straightforward too. You can connect it with your GitHub account and, use the same email address and sign up and sign in as well. Then I've made a video about Terraform Cloud. You can check it out, or you can also, check other videos or other tutorials. I use it for my back end, which stores the state file, have it locked as well. You can use this instead of using S3 bucket. So to sign in, I'm going to use my HCP account, which I've signed up, and I'm going to sign in with my GitHub account, which I already said. Okay, let's see. Yep, we are in, and we are on a workspace, but I want to go to home and show you how this goes. Once you're on your Terraform Cloud, once you sign in, I have created a lot of workspace and project on here, and I've also created an organization, which is this. That will be the first thing you can create if your account is brand new. Let me create a new organization so you can see how this works. So we create a new organization, give it a name. I'll give this Cloud Core Hub and create organization. So this organization is created, and we are going to create a workspace in our organization. What we want to create is a CLI because we want to run Terraform code from our pipeline to provision resources on our AWS. So I'll go to CLI. The workspace name, I'll give this S3 Uploader. S3 Uploader, and the project is going to be default. If not, you can also create a project and call it, give it a name, but it's going to be a default. So we create this. So we have successfully created an organization. We've created a workspace. Now it's giving us the back-end code that we need for our Terraform file. You can copy this and add, but we are not there yet. C is still creating, checking for configuration, and you're going to run Terraform login from your terminal. Now that we have created this, the other thing that we need to do is to go to our workspace, or we are still in the workspace, and to go to variables and add our variables, which is from AWS, giving it the right or the right permissions to provision resources in our AWS. I'll add variables here, and I'll go on here and copy this, come back here, is value, paste, and the key is going to be the same thing on here. I'll copy this and come here, paste this, sensitive, so it wouldn't be in any of the logs or be in anywhere. It will, encrypt your sensitive information. But I'm going to delete this after this demo. anyway. Come here, I also need this. Yeah, let me just copy the whole thing. Come here, add new variable, paste this here, and cut, paste, and delete this equal to. All right, sensitive, and add variable. Now this is done. Another thing that we also need to get on from this Terraform Cloud is our token. This token is going to help us to authorize Terraform. We're going to add this token to our pipeline. That's our GitHub Actions pipeline. So to authorize it to run commands using the Terraform Cloud. You can go on here and okay, go back here to the organization, go to settings, and go to API tokens. All right, so next will be to, we're done with this. Next will be to create our infrastructure as a code, which is the Terraform files that create all the resources that we wanted to create in our AWS account. So what are these resources? Yes, we want 2 S3 buckets, and we want a Lambda function. We also want to set up S3 notification on our in bucket, because our in bucket, once a file comes in the in bucket, it will trigger the AWS Lambda function to sort the files into the bucket, that's the out bucket. We are going to create all these resources, and for our AWS Lambda, we are going to also create a role and create permissions for this role. Okay, let's roll with it. Here I want to have everything organized, so I will create a folder in the root directory. So I will go here, create a folder, and call it Terraform. And in this Terraform, that's where I'll be creating all the files. To create resources, you can actually go to Terraform resources from Google. We can actually type Terraform. We want to start with the IAM. Okay, let's say AWS IAM role resource. Let's see where it takes us and how to go about that. Okay, so we are on here. We can look through to see like the example of what it's giving us and start from there. But before we go too far, remember that we can still come back to this. Let's go back to our workspace and go to our workspace. Now we are in our workspace, default project. Let's go back to our workspace and see this code on here. Let's copy this, and in here we're going to create a file and call this terraform.tf. On here we are going to add this for now. Once we have all this, we have to go to AWS and start with the provider. Okay, you see how this comes in. You can copy this. You can copy this, modify, but let's just continue with what we have here. But here I need to add that is, AWS that I'm using. I'll write, the required provider. My required provider here is, and value here will be HashiCorp, right? HashiCorp/AWS. You can also find that on here. HashiCorp AWS. Next will be to add the version. This is the version, but I like to use something else. So version, and the value for version is going to be equal to. Okay, now we are done with Terraform, adding the provider and the version. Next is to define our remote. So our back end is going to be is remote, and in that remote our organization name is Cloud Core Hub. Remember that. And the workspace, we have this because it's already set up for us. This is the workspace. Another thing I also need to add after will be the required version. Required version here is going to be equal to 1.6.3. And after this, I need to also add my provider, which is AWS, obviously. Here, because I want to add the region, so I'll do region. And the region, you can type in your region here, but I will prefer to, have it as a variable that I can always go to my variables and make all the changes. So I will write this as like this. Okay, with this, there's no variable files created. I will go and create a variable file. Here I'll create a new file and call it variables. And in these variables, the TF is going to have the same structure for everything we're going to create. And the structure, you can also go on here and look for variables. Terraform variables. Just to give you a structure. You don't need to know this offhand. You can just go here and see the structure. So the structure is the same, and see what it is. We can copy this and go back to our code and paste it on here. But remember, for this variable, the name is going to be region because we called it .region. So come in here. What did I even type? Rename variables. Okay. Once you're on here, we want to call this region because that's what we call our variable. The type is going to be a string. And now the default is going to actually be the value. So you can have it in this square bracket, or you can leave it like this. I'm actually in the east one, and that is like this. You see that this is already good. Okay, so we are done with this. We are going to be creating other variables. We can use this as a template for the rest. One thing you can also add here is to add description to your description. Then the value will be whatever to describe more about what you have in your variable. So this is going to be my AWS region. Okay, all right, we are done with this. So let's go back on here and go create a row. Okay, oh no, I am right. Okay, we want to create a row and we want to create a policy as well. So let's start with policy, or let's start with row. For this row, we have, it's pretty much the same thing, but let's just create AWS row, right? Okay, create a new file and call this row.tf. So this row is going to give it the permission. This row, we want to attach it to the Lambda. So the Lambda is able to read our S3 buckets and is able to move files from our bucket in to our bucket out. So it has to have that permission. But for this, I'm going to also give it, full access, the administrator access. You can have a different permission for this. Yep. So for the row, okay, you can come here. You have a basic example. You can copy this and work with it. All right, we don't need all those ones. And okay, so let's edit this. The resource is also going to be called the AWS IAM role, and the role actually we are going to call this Lambda accept. So it's going to execute our Lambda function, and the name, okay, I'm also going to use variables here. I will say this because we don't have this created, that's why it's underlining it, but once we get it sorted, it will all go. This is okay, we don't need all the tags. This is good. Next, we'll be creating a policy, and this policy is going to attach the policy that we need for this role that we have created. So we are giving this role a permission and the rights that they need. I'll go here, new file. Okay, this is just for testing purposes, that's why I'm giving it the administrator access. But if it's for production, you have to, give it the right access that it needs. Okay, so we have this created, and remember we have to, make all the changes here for our variable files. Next, we are going to be creating the bucket. S3. Okay, for the S3 bucket, this will be the bucket in, and the resources is S3 bucket, bucket in, and the prefix. Yes, we are going to go back to variables files and set this up, and we are also going to add this course. You can look this up on the AWS Terraform resources and see this. We're also going to duplicate this because we also need it for bucket out. But remember, to change all the ins to out. So I'll paste that on here. And same thing, you have the in and you have the out, and you're going to use the same bucket out ID for your course configuration. That is that for the S3 bucket. So next will be to create the Lambda, right? The Lambda. So go here. New Lambda. Okay, our Lambda has a lot of variables that we are going to put in our variables. So we have our Lambda function, the function we are going to call it, file processing function, and this function is going to, be triggered once it receives a file in the bucket in S3 bucket. Okay, we are actually going to comment this and leave this on here. Remember, we are still going to set up our variables.tf file, right? And next, I'll be creating the notification to trigger the function once there is a file in the bucket in. And this notification, we are putting this in our bucket in to trigger and let Lambda function know that there is something in the in bucket. Okay, so this is the S3 bucket notification. You can check this out on the Terraform website, and it's going to be for the bucket in. Is we are attaching the permission to allow bucket in, and we are attaching the permission that we have for the policy and the role that we have created previously. That is this for. One thing I also have missed out here is the file source. What is this actual function? So we are going to create this function in a folder, and it's going to be a Python runtime Python 3.11 runtime. Once it's triggered, this Python file is going to run. That will be the main thing I will walk us through next. Let's finish up with the variables file. Okay, I have all my variables already typed out, so I'm going to put it on here. So let's check out all those files. So this one is now good, the policy is good, Lambda is good, S3 bucket notification is good, this is also good. Okay, so our S3 bucket prefix is going to be cardcore S3 file. That is the prefix. So it means for bucket in, let's just check what the bucket in name is going to be. For bucket in, the name is going to be that prefix and in. That is the name of the bucket that we need for our application, which is already set. Okay, so this is the prefix and this is dash in. Okay, if I make any changes here, it's going to affect where our files is going to go in when we upload. And if we put it in out, and remember the notification is going to trigger once there is something in, and Lambda is going to run and push things in the out bucket. Okay, I'm going to create another folder, call it Lambda, and I'm going to move this to the root directory. Yeah, the file is in the root directory. In here I'm going to create okay, I'm going to call this lambda function.py. It's going to be a really simple Python script. Okay, here we are going to import Poto3. Okay, I'm going to also create a function in this file or in this script that is going to take the file that is in the bucket in and move it to a folder based on the extension in the out bucket. So if you upload 5 PDFs, it's going to go in one folder that is going to call PDF. If you upload PDFs and you upload docs, whatever file extension, is going to sort them out in their different folders. That is what this function is going to do. All right, I will walk through that now. Okay, remember here to also add the name of the bucket on here, of the bucket out. Okay, here we'll be defining the supported extensions. You can add more of this extension depending on the extensions that you need, but here I'm just going to keep it basic for all the regular extensions that we have. And first I have txt.txt, and it's going to be this.txt is going to move it to a folder called txt. So this is going to be the structure. The extension and the folder is going to move this to. You can copy this and make all the changes. This is fine. Dot. I think we can do this as well. And the next is going to be CSV, and it's going to be in the folder CSV. And here, let's have PNG. And after that, that's going to be the list of our supported extension. Next will be what is going to do in this function. Will be for in the record, what we have in our record, what we have in the bucket in is going to process this. And let's just keep going. S3 here is going to be the object in the S3, and it's going to use the key. and here will be for file. Extension will be key. Okay, so that's our file. First we're going to import Boto 3, and we're creating this function called Lambda handler, and the two keys we need here is the event and the content, and it's going to take everything from the in bucket and it's going to move everything to the out bucket. And the supported extensions here are this. You can add more extensions to this. Okay, so let's walk through this code again. First will be is going to do an import of Boto 3, and we are also going to create a function called Lambda handler. And for this Lambda handler, it creates S3 resources objects, using the S3 buckets to interact with our S3. So the output, we are going to set our output, which is the Cloud Core S3 file out. We are going to define the destination of where these files are going to be moved, and we also need to define all the extensions that we are going to work with for our output. So it's going to process our record, it will run through, iterate over each record in the event object passed by the Lambda function. So this records represent our S3 bucket that triggered the event. So it will extract the source bucket name and the file key path from the record. Whatever the file name is going to extract the extension, and it's going to use that extension to create a path, which is going to be the output path. So next will be the file handling. If supported, it constructs the output path on here. So the purpose of this will be to, this function will automate the process of sorting files from one S3 bucket into directories in another bucket based on their file extensions. So it simplifies managing and organizing files, especially in environments where handling various types of documents or images exist. Okay, so you can also use this and change and make out whatever you want to make from this function. So we have this all done. Next on our list of things to do will be to set up our pipeline. We can go to our GitHub account and set that up. So once you're on here, you can go to Actions and create a new workflow. For workflows, we are looking for Terraform. Let's see what we have for Terraform. Okay, we have something for Terraform. Let's look at it. Okay, we can copy on everything here. Because we want to create this locally, then I can come here and create a folder, and I'm going to call this .github. Okay, I'm going to move this. It's supposed to be in the root folder. And in this, I'm going to create another folder called workflows. And in this, I'll create a file and I'll call this terraform.yaml, and I'll paste this on here, what I copied from GitHub. Okay, so this branch we are on is dev, so let's work with dev. We already have something in the master. When you're going to clone the master, which already has everything that we are typing right now. So I'm going to do on the branch, because we're pushing this to the dev branch. Everything on here is going to be as it is. You can remove all these comments on here, and okay, one thing we are going to add is this API token, which we are going to get from Terraform. We can go on here to Terraform and go to our page. That's the organization, and you go to API tokens, and let's create a token. It's going to expire in 30 days. That's fine. We have this generated, and copy. Once I copy this, I am going to save it on here. I'm going to cancel this. Okay, and back on here. We'll paste this on here and go back here and copy this because we want it to have the same name, or you can change it, but just make sure it has the same name, and paste it on here and add. Okay, that is done with this. Checkout is actually in version 4 now. I'll have to check the latest for this. It's showing version 1. I would like to delete all those comments. Just moved a little bit. Okay, I will have to define the working directory because we have so many directories in this root directory, so I'll have to define the directory where our Terraform code is. So working directory, so go to in the root and is in Terraform. Okay, so setup. This is version 3. After this checkout, before setting up our Terraform, I want to do one thing, which is to zip this function, this Python script, and add it to Lambda when it's being created, and you will see this function in our AWS Lambda. Okay, so here it's going to zip this. Remember, it has the source, where the source is, and in our variables it defines this to be in the Lambda. So here is saying it's in the root, and this is the file which is zipped. It doesn't exist yet, and we want this to exist in the pipeline. The pipeline is going to copy this file and zip it and put it in the root and have this straightforward. Okay, so I want to add this on here. So it's going to cd into Lambda folder. Okay, so next will be to do the zip r, that's recursive, and we're going to do 9. So 9 is the level of compression. There's 0 to 9. 0 meaning 0 compression, and 9 is the maximum compression, just to reduce the file to the compress it as much as possible to reduce the weight or to reduce the volume it has on the pipeline. Okay, so Lambda function. So we are going to name the zip file Lambda function. Remember, it's going to be the same name that we have in our variable. Okay, then we name the file we want to zip. Lambda function.py. Okay, so we are going to move this file, move it to the Terraform folder so you can see it on here, which is the root of Terraform file. So back on here, and once it's done, it's going to cd back to the working directory. Alright, so here is going to set up Terraform, and after setting up Terraform, next will be to initiate init, and it's going to run format. One thing I want to add on here is continue on error. I'm going to add it. It doesn't need to stop the pipeline even if it fails at this point, because the format, it might not look so awesome, but that's fine. The code can still continue to run. If the plan is good, that's okay. So the format here can continue on error. Plan, we don't need to continue on error on that. But the next thing is the Terraform apply. So the Terraform apply is if GitHub Rev is on master, but here is on dev, and the GitHub event is push. Yeah, push is fine. It's going to run Terraform apply auto approve. Input is going to be false because we don't have any input file for our variables. I think this is all good. All right, so we are going to commit now. So git status. Okay. Okay, if you have this git ignore file, make sure that your node modules is in here and that your .env is here, so you don't push this to your git commits. Added files, you can make this more comprehensive, and git push. Okay, because we are pushing to dev, yes, we have a new line to run here, so it's pushing this to the dev. All right, cool, let's go check it out. We are on here. Let's go to our actions. We see something running, and let's just check out our code first, and we see that we have a dev branch. So we have master and dev. All the code you need is already in the master, but we created this dev so we can walk through everything from scratch. So back to the actions. Yay, it failed. Why did it fail? Let's check it out. Okay, why did it fail? Lambda to okay, let's go back to the okay. I think we are missing the slash here. Okay, git status again, git commit. That's am is going to add and also going to commit the message. Updated the pipeline. Git push. Okay, let's go back on here and see if anything is pushed new and see what it is. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, it's failing again. Why? It said no such file as this Terraform. Let's go here. Was our working directory? Yeah, that's where the problem is. So working directory is this slash, so it's a folder. Okay, that's a mistake. Okay, pipeline tool and git push. Let's go back to actions and see what's going to happen here. Okay, let's give it a couple of minutes. Okay, this worked. Setting up Terraform. Oh, init worked. No, oh, the plan failed. Okay, what's wrong with the plan? Let's see. Insufficient right to generate a plan. Okay, so let's look at the plan again. Okay, let's add this no color, no input. Let's even continue on error and see what apply will be. Okay, git commit -m updated the plan, git push. Okay, we'll give it a couple of minutes and we'll get back to it again and see. Okay, with this error, let's go check the permissions that we have from Terraform Cloud. Okay, I see I created organization token here. Let's see. Create a user token and see if that's different or if that's gonna help. Okay, so we are creating this token. What do I call this? Let me call it Terraform and create. So this is not organization token, so this is user token. Okay, so copy. That was a mistake from my end, so I'll go back here, which is settings, and go on here to actions where we have this, and okay, cancel. I just want to edit it because I want to retain the name. Okay, update. Okay, so back to actions. Okay, this looks like it's passed, but it's not because our apply didn't run. Apply, yeah, exited, but Terraform apply didn't apply because we don't have all the required permissions. So I want to rerun all jobs. So I want to rerun all jobs, and let's look and see what this will turn out to be. Okay, so the plan is working. We can tell once it's done. So plan is running. Let's refresh here and see. It's gonna take a couple of minutes, like I always say, or a couple of seconds. Okay, we still get let's even remove this so it can fail. Let me try this locally and see. Yes. Okay. Okay. Let's use this Terraform login. It says created this token. Let me copy this token. That's what we used in logging in, and I'll put this in here and enter. Okay. Let me use that same that I used for login and add it here in my settings. Come here, actions, edit this one, paste this value, update, and now come on here. I want to cd back and run git status. Okay, something changed, and what is that? Let's do git commit. Updated Terraform login. If I could type right. Okay. Okay, we are still seeing warning. Okay, I want to silence these warnings. Okay, and I'm adding that to my plan. Right, let's commit this. I hope this will fix it for good. Okay, let's also get here and see this is the only bucket that exists on our AWS. So back on here, refresh this page, or you can click in here to look at what is going on. Okay. Since it's silenced the warning, even though it's still there, but apply is running. Let's refresh again and give it a couple of minutes. Okay, our apply job is done. Let's look through the log and see everything that he has provisioned. Okay, we're expecting to see the Lambda function, the policy attachment, the role, then the permissions, the bucket in and the bucket out, and the course configuration for in and out, then the notification. Yeah, so we have 9 to add, and all were added. Okay, so let's go confirm if we have all this added in our resources. S3 here, we can refresh. Voila, we see our 2 buckets, the in and out. We can click on the in and see there is nothing in the in, and we can go back and click on the out and see there is nothing. We also need to confirm that we have Lambda. Yes, we have the function, which is the file processing function. You can click on it and you see the function on here. So it zips that file in the pipeline and you have it in your Lambda here. Okay, these are the 3 major things that I needed to confirm. Now we have to go start up the application. Okay, so to start up the application, let me minimize all this and close out all this. So we need this open, and we have to run npm run dev. Right. Okay, there is a crash waiting for file changes before. Okay, I need to add this to my .env file. I'll go on here and paste it. We do npm run dev. Okay, it's loading and our application is live. and we are going to upload files from our local machine to our S3 in bucket and see what it's going to do for the bucket out. I want to select all of this. I want to upload all this. You know that we have a PDF to PDF, we have PNG, we have TXT, we have CSV, we have TXT again, and we have another PDF and a Word document. Let's see how this is going to work. And upload to S3. Okay, it says successfully uploaded all files. Okay, let's now go to our S3 bucket. S3. Okay, let's look for in, and we see this file is in here, and they were all uploaded almost the same time. Let's go to out. It might take a couple of seconds or minutes to run this process, but let's see. Here we have CSV. We can refresh and maybe take a couple of seconds and come back again and see. Okay, it has only processed the CSV. Let's even go in and see what is here, and you see is the well list. Let's go to files and see what we have. Okay, see the files we uploaded, and we have this is ready in the out. Let's go back to bucket and go to out again. Okay, we only see this. Let's refresh. Okay, we have CSV, we have docs, we have PDF, PNG, and text. Okay, let's see what we have for docs. We only have one, and if you go back here, what we had for docs is just one file. And remember, for TXT we have 1, 2. Let's go to TXT and see if we have the 2 in the TXT. Yes, we have the 2 in the TXT. And let's check out our PNG, only 1. Let's go back to PDF. Yes, we have 3 PDFs in here. Okay, this is good. So for PDF you have 1, 2, 3 PDF file. And that's the end for testing if this work with the front end, uploading files to S3 buckets, running a function to separate or sort our files according to their extension. Okay, if you have other things you want for sorting, yes, you can edit your Lambda function. That's a Python file, Python script to do whatever you want it to do for your bucket out. But that's the end with testing. All right, we are done with this. So next will be to clean up. You can stop the application, come to your we can stop this. Now we need to clean up all the resources that we have provisioned, and that will start with using Terraform. That's the cool thing with Terraform. You can just run a line to delete everything you have provisioned. Okay, so to delete that, we'll first have to clean out the things we have in our buckets, the ones in the in and the ones in the out. Once we have that cleaned out, then we can destroy everything that we have created. Okay, to start with that, we have to first do let me start with this S3 remove, then cloud core. That's the name of the bucket. File, and I want to run this. Recall save. Okay, with this, let's go check that if everything in the in bucket is out. This is the in bucket. Everything is gone. We'll run the same for the out to clean it out. You see that when I was provisioning this S3, I didn't enable versioning. Okay, one thing with versioning is once you have it enabled, you are not able to delete yeah, you can, but there's a way you can delete this from the CLI, but you have to make sure that you go and select to show all the versions to delete all of that. Okay, let's check what we have for out and refresh. It's all gone. So now we have to delete the buckets. Now we've deleted the content in the bucket, we have to delete the bucket. Okay, so with deleting the bucket is just the simple Terraform. We are going to use the Terraform destroy. If you didn't do this whole process from beginning to end at the same time, make sure you also do your Terraform login. But with that, I don't need to log in because I know I logged in while I was doing this. I can cd into the Terraform and then run Terraform init. Okay, this is initialized, and know that our back end is remote, which is Terraform Cloud. One thing I don't need to get this error. Let me just solve this before we meet that error. So we don't even meet the error. Go to the Terraform files. You see that here there's supposed to be something local here. It expects to see the zip file in here, but this zip file doesn't exist, so I want to go comment that out and put a placeholder that is here. I'll have to comment this, then I can uncomment this. That's why I had it on here before. Okay, so with this we can run our Terraform destroy and do auto approve. Okay, Terraform destroy auto approve. Let's see if this will destroy. Let's look, wait for a couple of minutes, and after running the Terraform destroy, we'll go and check all the resources and see if they are all destroyed. Okay, so we also have that same error, but just know that everything is destroyed, but it's just some warning. And it's showing 9 to destroy, and yes, it's destroying, and the 9 resources are all destroyed. Okay, let's go back to S3 bucket, refresh. It's gone. This is the original bucket we had in here, and next will be to verify the Lambda. Lambda is gone. There is no Lambda here. We don't have any function in our Lambda. What else? So the bucket comes with notification, is all gone. The row, everything is all gone, and that's the end. And thank you again for joining us for this serverless architecture of running automation to provision resources on AWS, and also using Terraform Cloud as our backend instead of the S3 bucket. Just exploring new tools and learning how to use them, and also having a front end for uploading our files. You can actually cut off this front end part. You can use Terraform, write the Terraform files, provision the 2 buckets, then you can upload files manually to your bucket in, and once you have your Lambda function set up, it's going to trigger and it's going to run the process to sort these files in the app bucket. But I just wanted something fancy, something front end. If you have a front end where you upload pictures, and you can also from your front end make it more fancy or work with it, even create login page or sign up page, just to make it more authenticated. You can do whatever you want with this project. And that brings me to the end of it. If you have feedback, comments, questions, feel free to write in the comments, and don't forget to share this project with your friends who wants to work on projects on cloud engineering project, DevOps, SRE, to help them with practice. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again.